Welcome back to Worth a Shot, the series where I recommend some of my favorite games to you. The Metal Gear games have always been about stealth and tactical gameplay, so a lot of people were quite surprised when Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance came out in 2013. Because this game is focused mainly on fast, action-packed melee combat, and the only thing it has in common with other Metal Gear games is the universe and the somewhat, well, let's call it unique story. The game puts you back in the shoes of Metal Gear Solid 2 protagonist Raiden, who has received a few upgrades since then, and is now a cyborg ninja or something like that. Let me be honest here, I have no clue what the hell is going on in the Metal Gear universe, and I really don't care. Mainly because the story is probably the least important thing in the game by far. The real focus of the game is the combat and the combat alone. And if you look at the fact that Platinum Games was responsible for this game's development, that is no surprise, as they are primarily known for their great combat systems in games like Bayonetta, and more recently Transformers Devastation and the upcoming Nier Automata. So then, let's talk about the combat. As I said before, you mainly engage in melee combat with your sword, although some ranged weapons are available against flying enemies as well. But for the most part, you will slice your way through the hordes of enemies with your sword. You get your standard light and heavy attacks and many combos involving those two buttons, but surprisingly no dodge move. Instead, Metal Gear Rising focuses on a parry and block system that allows you to parry or block most enemy moves. To pull off a decent parry though, you will need some very precise timing. When perfectly executed, a parry will leave your enemies open to your counterattacks. Certain attacks cannot be parried, but those can be avoided with good movement. When you have dealt enough damage to an enemy, successfully execute a parry on weak enemies, or fulfill specific conditions, you get the option to use Blade Mode, the standout feature of this particular game. Blade Mode allows you to precisely cut enemies and objects into tiny little pieces. The cuts are not predetermined and will appear exactly where you slice with your sword. If you are looking for a lot of gore, this game has it. At the end of each level, you will get a rating judging your playstyle. And if you want an S rank, be prepared to play through the game almost perfectly. Which, on the highest difficulty, is freaking hard. The levels themselves are very linear and offer almost no opportunity for exploration, but you only really want to get from fight to fight anyway, so I can forgive that. Each level ends with a boss fight, and those are the highlights of the game. Every boss in this game feels unique and challenging in their own way. They all have different weapons, attack patterns, and require unique strategies to take down. If you're just mashing a single attack for the entire fight, chances are you'll end up dead almost immediately. Each boss is also accompanied by their own music, getting you progressively more pumped up throughout the fight. Speaking of music, the soundtrack for this game is amazing and is well worth listening to on its own. Let's move on to the graphics. Being an Xbox 360 and PS3 game, Metal Gear Rising is not the prettiest game. But the PC version runs very well at a capped 60 FPS and offers some exclusive graphics options like anti-aliasing and higher resolutions. The game definitely looks better on PC, but don't expect any miracles. Oh yeah, I told you in the beginning that the story doesn't really matter, but this being a Metal Gear game, there are still plenty of cutscenes to watch and lots of cheesy dialogue to laugh at. Not really important, but I thought I should mention it. Other than that, the PC version comes with all release DLC and is fairly cheap as well. The game goes down to around $5 during a sale, which is way less than it's worth. It is fairly short though, with only 4 to 5 hours to complete the story, but the game has a fair amount of replayability with new upgrades to unlock, higher difficulties to beat, and better ranks to achieve. If anything of what I just said got you at least a little interested in the game, I highly recommend you try it for yourself. And that's it for today. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll now leave you with the end of Monsoon's boss fight, and I'll see you in the next one.
This one's on me! you wonder, weakling? Now what will you do? Death, Ripper!